Hello and welcome to Everyday Tarot, your daily dive into the divine wisdom of the tarot. I'm your host, Camille A. Saunders, healer, tarot enthusiast, and your local witch next door, and today I'm talking about tarot and pets. Whether you're a seasoned tarot reader or just starting to explore, this podcast offers daily insights, intuitive messages, and practical advice drawn from the cards. Each episode is designed to help you connect with your inner wisdom, find clarity in your decisions, and tap into the energy of the universe. Tune in every day, Monday through Friday, for fresh perspectives and empowering guidance from the tarot as interpreted by me. Thanks so much for those of you who were able to attend my virtual tarot card creation event last week. If you signed up but were unable to make it to the live event, you should have the replay of the event recording, the PDF I made with my step-by-step process, and an offer to join my upcoming series called Tarot for Transformation. So check your emails. If you weren't able to attend live, didn't register in time, and you really want, you wish you were there, you can go ahead and get the full hour-long recording with my step-by-step method, examples of the tarot cards I've created, journaling questions, a PDF to walk you through it for just $33. You can click here to purchase now. I'm going to be offering a 12-week Tarot for Transformation live course this summer, and if you're interested, I also have the sign-up link for that. If you love the show, the best way to support it is by listening daily, leaving a review, and subscribing or following in your favorite podcast app. I just updated the Patreon benefits to be bigger and better than ever. I'll be hosting live episodes every new moon to do a new moon collective tarot reading. If you join the lovers of the podcast level on the Patreon, you'll get access to an exclusive Discord chat to chat with me during the stream, and I will pull a card for each of my patrons in addition to the new moon collective spread. So if you want an individual card pulled for you once a month live on the podcast, join the Everyday Tarot Patreon family at the lovers level. If you'd like to support the podcast even further, you can get a one-time individual 5-card reading in addition to all the other benefits if you join the Witch Bitch level on the Patreon. If you're local to me in the greater Puget Sound area, you can check out my Let's Talk Tarot meetup group for the latest event postings. Shortly, I'm going to have 2 up there. One is for a women's circle that I'm going to be hosting with my friend Izzy in person for the full moon on July 10th. And then I'm also going to get another in-person tarot card crafting event put up there where we'll be meeting at a library again and doing some crafting together. I will also be at Tacoma Pride July 12th from 12 to 6 p.m. in Wright Park doing my tarot crafting there. So if you're going to be at Pride, you can come ahead and stop by and make a card. And if you're interested in my free PDF with the 2025 5-card tarot spread I created just for you at the beginning of this year, you can get that by joining my newsletter list. My weekly newsletter always has the most up-to-date information on upcoming events, presentations, and more. And if you don't already know, I'm a sex and relationships therapist, seeing clients virtually all over Washington State. I love working with queer, poly, and witchy clients. If you'd like to work with a therapist that doesn't judge you, is witchy just like you, and helps you learn how to deal with anxiety, chronic pain or illness, communication issues, self-advocacy, and sex, head to my website and book a free consultation now to start your journey. You can find the links for any of these offers in the show notes or on my website, CamilleASaunders.com/everydaytarot, in addition to the images of the cards I pull on each episode. So welcome to season 10, where I'm talking all about tarot and witchcraft. If you haven't listened to my other seasons yet, you can check those out. In season 1, I went through tarot basics. In seasons 2 and 3, I went through all the major arcana cards and 4 suits, the overview. Season 4, I talked tarot and pop culture. In season 5, I went through 13 common tarot spreads. And season 6, 7, 8, and 9 were dedicated to the suit of wands, pentacles, swords, and cups. So yes, I do have a episode about every single card in all 78 cards in a traditional tarot deck. If you're looking for a particular episode, you can always scroll, through on the podcast, but if you want to just be able to search it, you can go to my website, CamilleASaunders.com/everydaytarot, and type in the search bar at the top for the episode, for the card title, like 2 of Cups, 4 of Swords, 10 of Pentacles, major arcana cards, etc. And it will pull up that episode and we'll have the information there so you can find it. All right, so now we're on to season 10, like I said, where I'm talking all about tarot and witchcraft. And today I'm talking about tarot tarot and pets. I don't have any, I looked through all my witchy books and I don't think I have any that talk about this in particular. But at least for me, my experience of doing tarot is that I guess, I don't know, especially whenever I do tarot, I feel like the pets, they come calling. They come, at least my cats, they always want to sit on the cards or on my notebook. They seem to know whenever I'm doing tarot, and they like, even if they were sleeping or other things, they kind of come around and again, like I said, start crawling on them or sitting in my lap while I'm reading. So I do feel like, I mean, I think animals are very tuned into things, especially our pets and our own energy and what's going on. So they're probably picking up on, again, whatever energy is happening when we're reading tarot or looking at it. And I'm imagining that's why they're coming around. But yeah, they're very attuned to us. I think they generally, most animals are sort of unashamed of like being interested in things or not. I would say they're very connected to their bodies in a way that we as humans, I was going to say pretend to not be. That's not totally true. I just think we do a lot of things that are not in our body, like any working on screens or working at a desk. It's very hard to stay in your body when you're doing those things because in a lot of ways, it's not supernatural for humans to just sit and stare at the same thing all the time. We're meant for being out in nature, right? We're meant for looking at the trees and the birds and being very connected to nature. But yeah, I'm just thinking about how that comes up. I feel like pets are generally very curious about anything sort of witchy that I'm doing. Like I said, there's often a lot of like sensory experience of lighting candles or having herbs or flowers or things like that around. Again, there's like smells. Sometimes there's tastes if you have like an altar with things on them. So yeah, I think sometimes it can feel like a hassle if you're reading tarot like me on your bed and you have your cards spread out and your cat comes and sits on top of them. But I think they're always just, yeah, again, very curious. I think they pick up on a lot of our energy, right? I think we know that animals, especially our pets, get nervous when we're nervous, get stressed out when we're stressed out, are happy when we're happy. They'll come comfort us when we're sad often. So I think, right, having a pet, especially that lives in your home, especially that's like a mammal like you, they just, yeah, they seem to be tuned into all of that. So I do have a tarot spread that we can do related to tarot and pets, which is fun. I did a little bit of reading just online about this topic because like I said, I have lots of witchy books and magic and spells and things like that, but I didn't actually find any that talked about this particular tarot and pets topic, at least that I could search in their index for. Where was I going with that? Yeah, but another thing I saw was just, right, you can, if you want to check in with your pet, like doing a single card pull, might be helpful to just kind of see where they're at. I would say in the same way that you might ask plants before you harvest them, or ask the land to welcome you when you go to a new place. I would ask your pets for consent before you do tarot on them or about them. That would be my personal ethic guide. In a lot of ways we might think that they don't know what's going on or they're not going to glean the same things from us. But again, I think because we're working in the realm of energy and intuition and perhaps spirit or connection to the universe, I think they can feel what's going on. And I would never want to, I wouldn't think of doing a tarot reading for someone that didn't consent to it, or pulling a card when someone wasn't interested, when it was about them. So in the same way, I think you can, If you have your pet around, you can just sort of ask them in your mind. You can ask them out loud, like, is this okay? Do you feel okay with this? And see if you get a message back, you know, internally. Or maybe they come up and nuzzle you and sit in your lap, and that feels like a yes. Maybe, like I said, you can put your hands on them in some way, or if you have a pet, like a reptile or a fish or something like that, be near them maybe, and then again sort of asking in that way of like, hey, I would like to pull a tarot card, are you okay with that? Again, this would be my sort of my personal ethical guide. You can decide what feels best for you, but that would be sort of my recommendation. And again, like I said, just in the same way you could pull a single card for what's the vibe of my day, what should I think about today, what should I remember, what should I focus on, you can also do that for your pet, I would say, and ask, you know, what's going on with them today? Do they have a message for me? What are they trying to communicate? I would say, especially if there's been a disconnection, or maybe you're coming home after travel or being gone for a while and you want to kind of reconnect with them. So I would say that that is sort of best practice. Like I said, I did find a spread. It is on emeraldlotusdivination.com, which I think actually I've pulled a spread from before. So they have a blog with a lot of different tarot spreads that they've created, and they talk about that they created the spread because their parents had got a new puppy, and they had a photo of him. They hadn't met him yet, and they sort of felt connected to them, and they sort of created the spread as a way to like get to know a new animal in their life. And I would say, you know, just in the same way that we might get to know a new tarot deck, or get to know a new baby, or get to know a new friend, right? Like you could get to know a new pet in this way, as a like, oh, what is our relationship going to look like? But I think this will also be super applicable to like a pet that you've had for a while. So yeah, this is a 5-card spread. I'm going to pull from my Anima Mundi deck because it is sort of an animal focused deck, and that feels appropriate today. I'm going to give it a quick shuffle. Then I'm going to intuitively ask my cat if he's cool with me doing a reading on him. He's not in the room with me right now. We'll see if he comes around. If I like ask him this, I'm gonna do it mentally, send out my energy and do it in that way. He's probably sleeping right now. It's a little cool at my house, so he might be under the bed. That's a favorite place for him, or on the cat tree. And then yeah, we'll go ahead. I'll walk you through kind of what my spread says. You can do it on your end, and then if you want to see the prompts, I mean, I'll talk about them, but if you want to see the prompts, you can go to my Instagram or my website, CamilleSaunders.com/everydaytarot, and find the episode for this one, and we'll have an image of the spread as well if you would prefer a visual. I'll also link to the blog that I originally got the spread from because I appreciate it. All right. Okay, so like I said, this is a 5-card spread. I'm going to lay them all out. Okay, so the number 1 is a card to represent. Oh wait, let me ask my pet first. Watson, my dear love Watson, the cat. Yeah, are you okay with me doing a tarot spread about you? What's the vibe? Is this chill? Trying to see if he's gonna come around. I'm getting like a sleepy yes. So maybe he's sleeping right now. All right, let's see. So card to represent connection between me and my pet. And when I laid this card down, it actually like spun around on my desk. So I'm not totally sure if it's upright or reversed because it did move. Maybe just my cards are a little bent. Let's see. So I pulled the 7 of Pentacles, which in this deck, so like I said, this is the Anima Mundi deck by Megan Weirer-London. So I pulled the Seven of Pentacles, which depicts an African elephant. And so this is the connection between me and my pet. It says, you're thinking of the future and have been investing a lot of time and effort into a long-term goal. You have also learned to focus your efforts where they are most important. While you may feel impatient with the slower progress, know that if you keep at it, your goals will come to fruition. So upright, it's about planning, perseverance, slow growth, patience, and investment. That's interesting. I don't totally know what this is about. I do feel like I sort of have a long-term goal of like getting 2 or 3 kittens. We only have 1 cat right now. We had 2 we used to have 3 back in the day. When my boyfriend and I first moved in together, I had a cat that I had grown up with or gotten when I was a teenager. And when we had her and she was getting older, we got 2 kittens. So my current cat is one of those kittens, and he is now 8 years old. His sister passed away last year, so for a long time it was the 2 of them, and they were very bonded siblings. They'd always been together, but now he's a lone cat in our house, and I feel bad when we are on vacation or things like that. I used to not feel as bad because they had each other to play with and that sort of thing. So I have been thinking about, okay, like, do we need to get him some friends? Would he enjoy being cat parenting some kittens? He's a very loving, sweet cat, so I think he'd be into that, but I felt sort of hesitant. Most older animals, but I would say especially cats sometimes don't love change. I guess people too. We like our routines, right? I don't know how he would adjust to that. And that's part of why I probably wouldn't just get 1 kitten or cat. I'd probably get 2 or even 3, because I would want them to be bonded to each other as well and to have each other. So that's sort of what is coming up for me as I like think about this, of like this future, this investing a lot of time and effort into a long-term goal. I imagine that being perhaps some kittens for him to have fun with. Yeah, we'll leave it at that for now. Okay, so card 2 is something special that we share. Oh, I got another Pentacles card. This time the 6 of Pentacles. This has, I see it's like a tree, and we see a bunch of different kind of woodland animals on it. Mushrooms, a squirrel, a woodpecker, and some maybe little like chickadees or some other type of bird on the card. So the 6 of Pentacles is a card of financial harmony, generosity, and sharing. You may be either the one happily giving or the one graciously receiving. Either way, it's a relationship built on good faith. Remember, however, the importance of being able to take care of yourself. Upright, this card is about generosity, charity, benevolence, and financial support. When this comes up, it really makes me think of my cat. Again, he has very specific routines in his day. When I get in bed to journal at night before I go to sleep, I sit in my bed, and like I said, I journal. I have like a little cup of like hot chocolate, like bedtime kind of tea thing. And he gets so excited. He will hear me get in bed from like across the house and come running. I don't quite understand because it's not like it's particularly loud, but he will come running, run, and he'll come get on the bed, and he wants to get on the fleece blanket, and I'll put a pillow under it to kind of like have him sit on that on my lap, and then he wants to hang out. And then our cat, I think he and his sister were found in a feral colony when they were kittens, so they were taken maybe from their parent at quite a young age when they were found, or something happened to their parent. So I think they were only a couple weeks old, which is generally too young to remove a cat from their parent. But I think often when cats are found in that sort of scenario. It's not uncommon, but anyway, he likes to like suckle on a blanket, like as if he's nursing from his mother, as like a self-soothing tool, I would say. That's how I view it. And so that is like something that it's like he wants to be near someone. He wants like body warmth, and then he likes to have a blanket to kind of like suckle on and like soothe himself to sleep, I think is sort of what's going on. And so when I pulled this card, it sort of made me think about that he comes every night when I'm journaling, and he'll come sit on that part of the bed. And my boyfriend has told me that if I'm out of town or not around when like he gets in bed, that Watson is mad, big mad, I would say. Like he'll sit on my side of the bed and just kind of like scream. He's a very vocal cat, especially as he's gotten older and been on his own. He talks to us a lot. He's very vocal. So yeah, that's sort of what I think of. He also really likes in the morning if I have cereal, because he wants to lick the bowl afterwards, or if we have ice cream. He is very tuned to the sounds of a bowl, and he will come running in that way. So that's sort of what I think of the way that we share things. Okay, so the third card is about how can we better understand each other or one another. And I pulled the Six of Swords. Let's see here. So it says, this is a somber card about picking up the pieces and moving on. A regretful but necessary transition, but one that will benefit you in the long term. Moving on, transition, and recovery. So how can we better understand each other? I mean, that might be that like he's still recovering from his sister being gone. It happened in like November of last year, and again, like they had been together since they were kittens. They were fostered together with a multiple of their siblings, and they had pretty much never been apart. They, even when we would take them to the vet, they would go in the same carrier to the vet, like laying on top of each other. So yeah, I had sort of wondered if he had been, I mean, grieving or just sort of adjusting. We were very concerned about him in the beginning, but it just makes me think, right, that we can better understand each other, that he has been in this transition time and he's adjusting, as are we, to like being a one cat household right now. And maybe he needs more time in that transition before I introduce some rambunctious kittens into his life. Okay, and then number 4 is an activity that we should do together. Oh, interesting. I pulled the Hierophant, which in this deck is an elk. So we see like an elk with like really big antlers, and we see 2 keys on either side of them, and then sort of this like starry night image behind them. So it says here, the Hierophant suggests to stay within convention. Rather than being innovative, now is the time to stick to what has already been tried and true. The Hierophant, however, also encourages pursuing knowledge, such as through education or joining a group. Upright, it's about religion, conforming, tradition, education, or group identity. This makes me think about like giving treats, or like playing with him, or like toys that he has right now that he's like, I don't actually need any more toys, right? Like I have plenty. He's got a whole box, a toy box full of toys. But the pursuing knowledge, such as through education or joining a group, because our cat is so vocal, I actually have these like buttons that he can use, like he can step on them, and we record them with different sounds. So we have one that says hold me, and we have one that says play. If you're intrigued by this idea, you can like find people on Instagram, which is how I found them, who teach their cats to communicate with them in this way. It's very interesting. But yeah, it's making me think about that, like, oh, maybe he wants to work on some more buttons. He will use them from time to time. We're not always good about reinforcing it. So like we'll go press the button when we play with him or when we pick him up, like hold me. So that's sort of reinforcing to him, but he will use it every once in a while. And my boyfriend Sean is convinced that it's all accidental, and he doesn't. But I'm like, no, I don't think he doesn't do it accidentally. I don't think. It's very like subtle if you like watch, even again when I'm watching Instagram videos of people doing this with their cats and they have like 100 buttons. It's really hard to like tell when the cat is actually like, it just looks like they're walking like across the mat with the buttons on it. But this cat that I watch, he'll like use different, like he'll create an entire like story using the buttons, which is very interesting. So yeah, that's the other thing I think of like maybe he wants to pursue his education of trying to talk to his owners, because he tries to talk to us a lot with meows, but of course I don't really know what he's saying. All right, and number 5 is why we were brought together. Oh guys, I pulled the lovers. How nice. It says so it depicts a red-crowned crane, 2 red-crowned cranes in a mating dance. This is a species, like many other bird species, that mates monogamously for life. This card signifies a harmonious relationship with a solid foundation and a deep bond. Outside of relationships, the lovers indicates that an important decision may have to be made. Be clear of your values and belief systems and stay true to yourself. So upright, it's about love, harmony, passion, choices, relationships, communication, and establishing values. Well, that feels pretty clear to me. Like, look, we're harmonious together. We have a solid foundation and a deep bond. We try to communicate with each other. We have our own values and belief systems that we try to intertwine with each other. So that's quite lovely. I like that. Okay, well that is the spread for today. I am gonna pull one other card to dive in and see what the cards have to say today on this topic, to see if there's anything else we need to know. So I'm gonna pull from a different deck for that one. I think I'm gonna pull, oops, throwing my cards, from the Lila and Olive Ophidia Rosa Tarot deck. Because this one also actually has some animals on it, mostly snakes, and mostly flowers are the other things on it, but it's my other what was I gonna say, tarot deck that has like some nature kind of like elements on it. Okay, so what else do we need to know? Are there any other ways of connecting with our pets or using the tarot to do so? Is there anything our pets want us to know today? Let's see. I pulled the World. Lovely. Let me find the deck guidebook. So it says, united and beaming, a web and a womb, light from all stars has arrived in full bloom. I feel like that's just a very nice message. The World is the last of the major arcana cards, so it's all about, that's the end of the journey, right? Completion of, if we think of the hero's journey as being the journey that you start with the Fool and end at the World, and it's part of the major arcana. The World is the associated with the number 21, and like I said, this one says, united and beaming, a web and a womb, light from all stars has arrived in full bloom. Yeah, so I think to me that means like this is this place of completion, right? Maybe our pets are completing us, or we're helping complete them and their lives, that we're sort of in harmony, right? We're working together. We've sort of come full circle, right? In this sort of dance of like needing them and them needing us, right? The world as a way of completion, or as a circle as it's often depicted. is sort of that idea, right? Of like, yep, here we go again. Like, here's another round as we go around the earth. And that, yeah, like sort of this, we feel complete. That's, I guess, going to be what I say. And it is like a nice, I don't know, wholesome message. That sounds weird to say, but yeah, like, yeah, about completion, triumph, end of a journey, unity, travel, awareness, or being like interconnected. Also, like global awareness is like sometimes what it says, but I think also that means like being in touch with nature, or like all the other creatures and living things on the earth. All right, well, thanks for joining me today on Everyday Tarot. Links for the tarot decks I use will always be in the show notes and on my website if you'd like to look at them or purchase them. And just as a reminder, the podcast comes out daily, Monday through Friday for all of 2025. If you want to email me, me@CamilleASaunders.com. You can send thoughts, questions, tarot spreads, complaints, if you have them, anything else, to me there at my email, and I will see you next time. All right, bye-bye.